The X-Files was a hit TV show that ran from 1993 to 2002. Initially considered a cult series, it turned into a pop culture touchstone. Both the series itself and the lead actors received numerous awards and nominations, and by its conclusion, the show was the longest-running science fiction show in U.S. television history. Unfortunately, people don't know when to let things be. In 2016, 14 years after the original finale, the show was brought back for 6 episodes. Overall, it was a disappointment. Less than half of the people that watched the series premiere stuck around for the finale. And oh my, was that finale a mess. It has a 32% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and literally ends with a cluster bleep as Scully is trying to drive around Washington, D.C. with the entire city gridlocked. The point being, we don't always need to renew things that were great in the past. Now, is the X-Files the best example? Not really. Honestly, I just wanted to finally used to wear this Believe shirt that I never get to wear anymore. But there are plenty of other examples that are also out there. You get it? Like, the truth is out there?
Ah yes, the original Planet of the Apes, a pioneering film that explores themes of persecution and utilitarianism and ends with one of the greatest twists in cinema history. And then there's the 2001 version of Planet of the Apes, where Marky Mark flies through some lightning, does some meaningless crap with monkeys for an hour and a half, and returns home in an ending that they thought would be a big twist, but is actually really stupid because it doesn't make any sense with any of the other events that happen in the film. I mean, Ape Lincoln? Are you kidding me? Yeah, we're done here.
And now, with absolutely no connection to anything I just mentioned, we'll start the Kevin and Kenny show for the Penn State...
Let the series die!
Kenny, I didn't say you could talk yet!
No time to waste! Let's get to our first segment! In their game against Pitt in 2017, Penn State jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead, but then hit a rut. They went the entire second quarter without scoring, and still hadn't managed to make a knockout blow into the third quarter. Enter Saquon Barkley. On this play, Saquon runs an angle route. That is, he gets through the line of scrimmage, cuts to the sideline in a 45-degree angle, then cuts back to the middle of the field. You can probably guess how it ends. In their game against Pitt in 2019, Penn State found themselves trailing with less than 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Facing a 3rd and long, they desperately needed a big play to score some points before halftime. Enter Ricky Slade. On this play, Slade runs an angle route. That is, he gets through the line of scrimmage, cuts to the sideline at a 45-degree angle, then cuts back to the middle of the field. It ends pretty well. And that big play set up this historic field goal. And these 3 points turn out to be a very big deal, as it most certainly affects somebody's 4th down decision later in the game. Hey! I find that offensive! Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay, I could go on for about 2 hours about this field goal because it was by far the dumbest decision I've ever seen in Beaver Stadium. And I once saw Joe Paterno punt on 4th and 2 from the Ohio State 38. We were trailing by 10. Ohio State was number 1 in the country. Give them the ball back. But let's focus on Pat Narduzzi. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to limit myself to 3 talking points about how terrible of a decision that field goal really was. After the game, Narduzzi said the reason he kicked the field goal is because they needed 2 scores to take the lead. Which, by the way, isn't even right. You could score a touchdown, go for 2, take the lead, all in 1 score. Like, my 4-year-old could figure out that math. But let's assume he's going to kick an extra point after a touchdown. That means he does indeed need 2 scores to take the lead. However, there's a thing called a clock, and with less than 5 minutes left in the game, if you willingly give Penn State the ball, there's a chance you might not get the ball back. This might be your last possession of the game, and you have to treat it as such, because if you score the touchdown first, the field goal can come in overtime. If you kick the field goal first, and then the clock runs out, that's it. You're screwed. There was another game that happened recently where a team was trailing by 6 points and decided to kick a field goal instead of trying to score a touchdown with under 5 minutes in the game. Guess how much time was left when they got the ball back?
I'm still bitter about that.
No, we need to get back to our doozy. All right, point number 2. What happens to coaches all the time when they play it super conservative towards the end of games is that they pass on a very manageable 4th down only to later in the game be forced to go for it on a much harder 4th down. Take, for example, the final play of the game. Because they pass on the opportunity to score a touchdown in one play from the 1-yard line, they instead had to score a touchdown on one play from the 26-yard line. Do you see how much worse that is? And that doesn't even take into account the fact that they had to convert on a 4th and 12 just to get the opportunity to have one play to try and score a touchdown from the 26-yard line. And by the way, the 26-yard line is in field goal range, so if you actually score the touchdown on that 4th and goal, then at the end of the game, you don't have to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone. You're lining up to kick a potential game-winning field goal, which just has a little bit better odds of succeeding than one play from the 26-yard line. All right, let's get to point number 3. But I trust my defense. That is every coach's go-to line when they decide to play conservative on 4th down towards the end of the game. And at first you might think, yeah, that's the right attitude to take. You should go ahead and trust your players. Except that's not what they really mean. What they really mean is, hey, I'm going to make this decision, and if it doesn't work out, it's the player's fault for not getting a stop on defense. Pretty much, it's anyone's fault but myself. And that's why the coaches make these conservative calls. They don't want to take any responsibility for themselves. Because if they kick it and the defense doesn't get a stop, hey, it was the defense's fault. If they kick it and the defense gets a stop and the offense doesn't score, hey, it was the offense's fault. But if they go for it and don't get it, then, oh my God, people might blame them. And we can't have anyone blaming us when we can shove all the responsibility off on the players. Now, I could get into win probability models and expected points, but nobody wants a frickin' math lesson when they're watching YouTube. So instead, I'm just going to show you what can happen when your coach isn't a complete coward when it comes to 4th down decisions.
Mosby Felder in the slot. McGloin looks that way. Pump fakes, then throws. Robinson, make it. 15, 2, 5, touchdown. Back goes McGloin. Sets, pump fakes, waits, delivers downfield for Carter. Makes a great catch at the 25-20. 15 inside the 15 to the 10. Carter with an absolutely fabulous catch.
The incredible 34-yard catch on 4th down was the impact play signifying that this was truly Penn State's night.
Touchdown. On 4th down, back goes McGloin. He wants the end zone. He looks, he fires in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Play action on 4th down. McGloin waits, rolls near side, directs traffic. Looks, waits, delivers downfield. Caught. Mosby Felder to 10. Mosby Felder to the 5. First and goal, Penn State. McGloin back to pass, rolls near side, looks in the end zone. He'll keep it and go to the corner. He dives. 1-2-37 to go, and Beaver Stadium goes wild.
McGloin.
4th and 6. Got a ton of time. And a wide open receiver. James. Touchdown, Penn State. He got it. James. First and goal. Milton to the edge. Penn State has done it. Was way up near the line of scrimmage. Dangerous play for Penn State. Here we go, McSorley being chased and incomplete. And the Nittany Lions turn it over on downs. Vince Beagle. McSorley steps up.
Yeah, do you even remember that those plays happened in the Big Ten Championship game?
McSorley in the end zone. Barkley touchdown. The Wizards.
Yeah, threw your curveball on that last one, didn't I? But I just wanted to show that even if you go for these fourth downs and fail, you can still win the game. It's not the end of the world if you don't get a fourth down conversion, especially if failing on fourth down means the other team gets the ball at their own 1 yard line. I mean, that's practically a win. Failing on fourth down is really a win for your defense. There was almost no downside to going for it. Pat Narduzzi, tip of the cap to you. Thanks for making a terrible decision to help my team win. Now go away and never come back.
Okay, so I've been pretty hard on Pitt, so I think it's time that I give them some credit. Did you know that the Mr. Yuck symbol? Yep, that's the one. It was actually conceived at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. Well, I want to do a segment honoring Pitt for finally having a positive contribution to society.
Mr. Yuck is me. Mr. Yuck is green. Home is full of lots of things that children shouldn't touch. Home is full of bad things that can hurt you very much. Now there's a man whose face is green that you ought to get to know. He'll warn you when danger's coming fast or slow. Mr. Yuck is me. Mr. Yuck is green.
Well, that's our show for this game, so let's sit here and wait for Kenny's stupid potty humor joke.
Nah, I think it's time to move past that.
Nah, I'm not gonna fall for that. I know something's coming.
I'm not lying. I got nothing.
So what, we're just gonna sit here? How are we gonna sign off the show?
Not my problem.
Seriously, you have nothing? Damn it, Kenny!